Before its resurgence in popularity on the 3DS, the Fire Emblem series once lived on home consoles. 12 years after Radiant Dawn on the Wii, Fire Emblem has finally returned to the living room with 3 houses on the Switch, and it's better than ever. With a vast and open base hub to explore, new ways to customize your fighters, and a story that's as brutal as the choices you have to make in the battlefield, 3 Houses is everything I've ever wanted in a turn-based strategy game. Following just one of the paths of its titular 3 Houses took me over 70 hours, and still left me hungry for more. Battles take full advantage of the relative power increase from 3DS to the Switch to create some impressive looking maps. With new battalions that you can equip to enhance and support your units, armies actually start to look like armies as the map zooms right into the fight to show the opposing forces slam into each other. Even with Fire Emblem's traditional weapon triangle all but missing, training up units unlocks many custom moves and abilities to counter certain enemies, serving as a great replacement. There's a bigger emphasis on choosing the right weapon for the right person, and units have more options than everyone trained the right way. That's a great reward for thinking ahead. Having battalions to equip on troops meant new strategies too, like the ability to stun attackers in place. With the enemy able to use these tactics as well, it challenged me to rethink my defensive strategies and kept things fresh. All these new changes coupled with the ability to customize your team how you want makes battles all the more fun and satisfying. 3 Houses provides a welcome respite from battle after battle by introducing the Graeber monastery, a huge explorable fortress that's home to both a church and an officers' academy for the 3 main nations of the land. As a newly hired professor, you'll pick one of those houses to teach, each with a set group of student soldiers to command and customize. Imagine Harry Potter's Hogwarts, except teens come to learn how to do battle instead of magic, and Dumbledore's also the archbishop of a powerful militarized church who routinely orders teachers to lead students to war against bandits and blasphemers. Before you can launch yourself into a war for dominance, you'll spend the first half of the campaign acclimating to life teaching at the monastery. Instead of becoming monotonous, the process of instructing and building up your students' abilities in combat arts is quick and efficient. Training becomes a very satisfying way to alter the makeup of your army and adapt to new confrontations. And if you don't want to waste time agonizing over each character's goals, you can even automate the entire process. Aside from teaching, you're smartly given multiple options on how to spend days off. There's something for everyone, from optional battles to attending specialized skill seminars, though you'll have to be strategic with the limited amount of activity points you have to spend. A favorite of mine was exploring, which lets you walk around the impressively sized monastery. It's practically bursting at the seams with students and faculty wandering the grounds, so it's no surprise that I encountered a few areas of minor slowdown when trying to sprint through crowds. There's a lot to see and do that's gradually rolled out during your first year at the school, though I found myself wishing that they had saved a little room to reveal some fresh activities in the second half of the story. Bonding with characters is still a major feature in 3 Houses, and there's more opportunities than ever. The writers and voice actors have done an impeccable job of making each character believable.
Our professor is with us again. Welcome to the back. Welcome back.
And since only your character can pursue a romantic pairing, other conversations feel more focused and nuanced, since they can explore topics that don't just end with dating.
Why do you reserve such cold treatment for me and me alone? Do you hate me, Dorothea?
The only thing that really hinders all the conversations are the backdrops, which are all warped static images instead of actual 3D rooms. They can look really bad, and can distract from the actual conversations at hand. The story of 3 Houses is expertly woven into the world that builds up, one that's full of political intrigue, deception, and even religious dogma. I ended up joining the Blue Lions on my first playthrough, and I'm very glad I did. Watching their leader Dimitri's character arc unfold through the first and second act was incredibly engaging, as was seeing my other characters adapt and grow over the course of the story. It's safe to say that any expectations I had about how the story would progress were definitely subverted multiple times. While 3 Houses has a definite conclusion to the events of the war that dominates Act 2, it never truly reveals its full hand in a single playthrough. It wasn't until I joined another house in my second playthrough that I truly realized how much more story content the other routes had to offer. These paths may retread some familiar ground in their missions, but the new context, surprises, and characters make each of the 4 total routes worth investing in. Fire Emblem 3 Houses succeeds in its ambitious telling of a land at war held by captivating leaders in which no side has all the answers. Its tense battles are made all the more harrowing thanks to new strategy elements, and the colorful cast of troops you send into the fray are incredibly charming. With a new take on training and unit bonding, and the many activities available to you between fights, it's absolutely begging to be played multiple times, and boy am I excited to do just that. For more on Fire Emblem Three Houses, be sure to check out our full written review on IGN.com, watch all three houses collide in battle, or check out a quick montage of all the different unit classes. For everything else, stick with IGN.
My way!